Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Color Me Bad Lynn, back to share a sexy old lady frag from way back in the 1940s. But before we get into that and I share this gorgeous fragrance with you guys, I want to formally greet you and welcome you to my channel. Even if we've met on prior occasions through other videos, or if we're connected on Instagram or Twitter, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. If you don't already know me by the name I go by over here on YouTube and Instagram, I am Color Me Bad Lynn. Mainly we talk about the fragrances that are in my collection, those that are on my wish list. We talk about all things beauty, skincare, makeup, hair. We'll talk about love, relationships, romance, a little bit about dating. I don't have that much expertise in dating, but I can help. Family issues, and most importantly, faith. All right, so let's dig right in and get right into it. If you are a connoisseur of fragrances, if you just love to watch YouTube creators and people who love to come on and share their fragrance collection, you may be familiar with the term old lady frag, right? And so I embrace that term. I don't call myself an old lady because there's nothing old over here but dust, honey. However, I love fragrances that are in that category, right? Old lady frag, which would be fragrances kind of like Youth Dew by Estee Lauder, Aromatics by Clinique, Poem by Lancome. Some people call White Diamonds an old lady frag. White Shoulders. If I didn't mention White Linen. Opium, the original Opium, and fragrances like that. Fragrances that you will probably find on maybe like your grandmother's or your great grandmother's dressers back in the day growing up, right? And so there are some of us who still love those types of fragrances and those nostalgic scents. Like Coco Chanel, the original, number 5, things like that. Those strong, heavy fragrances that you can smell a mile away, but they smell like rich. Some people are using the term nowadays like rich auntie vibes, which I don't know anything about that, but I get the gist of what they're meaning by that. Sexy old lady frag, right? So let's get into it. Like I said, I embrace it. It's all good. I just love all fragrances, no matter what. But this will probably be in a category of a sexy old lady frag. So the fragrance that I want to share with you guys today is from the design house of Nina Ricci. And I always pronounce it Ricci. It may be Ricci, but I always say Nina Ricci. The fragrance is L'Air du Temps. Okay, and I do have the box, so I'll show you the box. This is the box here. I think this one that I have that I'm sharing with you guys today is the 1.7 fluid ounce. Yeah, 50 milliliter. This is the box. Before we get into sharing the actual fragrance itself, the 2 doves represent, and if you're a fragrance collector, you may already know this, the 2 doves represent peace and purity. All right, so just if you're wondering, let me go ahead and take her out of the box. This is probably a newer version of the bottle of the fragrance. There are so many versions of this actual bottle. This happens to be my favorite of the bottles. Like I said, if you guys don't already know, I'm a bottle collector. So I love beautiful fragrance bottles. And we're going to do a couple of part 1 and part 2s of my most beautiful fragrance bottles. This is so gorgeous to me. Even if I didn't wear this, even if I didn't really care for the fragrance itself, look at the design of this. It's so pretty. You know what I mean? It's just really elegant, really gorgeous. And this is the detail. I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer so you can see. The 2 doves are connected. Again, they represent peace and purity. So I just thought I would share that if you didn't already know that. Because, sometimes when we love fragrances and we have them in our collection, we don't go into great detail about what everything means. and things of that nature. So, it's just like sitting down and having a good meal, and you don't look up the history behind how that meal was created, and who was the first person to fall in love with it and make it popular. You know what I mean? Same thing. So anyway, this is the bottle, and we're going to get into the actual notes of this fragrance. This is so beautiful to me. So just so you know, if you're just clicking on, this is my share of a sexy old lady frag, which would be in the category of a sexy old lady fragrance. Let's get into it. I do want to set this disclaimer out there. If you do not like white floral fragrances, don't even add this to your collection. This is like one of the most beautiful white floral fragrances I've ever smelled in my entire life. This fragrance was created back in 1948. Let's get into it. L'Air du Temps by Nina Ricci is a floral fragrance for women. They don't note it as a white floral because it also has some pink and yellow florals in it as well. L'Air du Temps was launched in 1948. So this is a classic. It's been around for a long, long time, right? The notes behind this fragrance is Francis Fabron. Your top notes. Now, get ready because this fragrance is loaded, and I think that's what I love so much about it. You've got your carnation. It has aldehydes in it, and if you don't know what aldehydes, a lot of times when you have fragrances that have aldehydes in them, they last and last and last. I think I sprayed a little bit of this on before taking a nap last night, and I can still smell it when I woke up this morning. It was a bit of a skin scent because I didn't layer it, but with layering, you can get this bad girl to project like nobody's business. There's rose in this. Of course, you already know I love a rose scented fragrance. You've got neroli. I love neroli. Brazilian rosewood. Okay. You got peach. You got bergamot, which is your citrus. You've got your middle notes, which I love to call your heart notes. So you've got carnation, you've got cloves, so you got spiciness mixed in with this fragrance. It's got gardenia, there's your white florals, got jasmine and ylang ylang. Those are also your white florals. You got more rose in the heart. You've got violet, you've got orris root, rosemary, and orchid. Those are some of your florals that are going to give you that powdery note. If you love a powdery finished fragrance, those are some of those florals that are combined in there that will definitely give that for you. Then you get down in the base of this fragrance, and that is what you get once this fragrance dries down on you, hopefully. You do know that you don't get every single note that are listed in fragrances to pop up through your skin. It depends on your body chemistry. It depends on what you're eating, what you've been eating, and what your body is going through, especially as a female. Gentlemen will find particularly more than women that normally a man's cologne, when they wear fragrances or colognes, their colognes normally always smell the exact same. They don't go through as many chemical changes and imbalances and hormonal switches like women do. So that's why ladies, of course, if you don't already know, a lot of times you may spray a fragrance on, depending on what time of the month it is or whatever the case may be. It may smell a little bit different on you depending on what you've been eating, how you're feeling, and things of that nature. So those all play a major role. So again, your base notes are going to be spices, which I love a spicy fragrance. Iris. Iris is a floral that whenever you see that in a fragrance, if you do research before you purchase fragrances, if you don't like a powdery finished fragrance, and I'm not saying that talcum powder, baby powder finish, but it just has a powdery note to it. When it dries down, it has a really soft dry down to it. Very, very powdery, very solid, sometimes almost creamy. Iris will almost always be in that fragrance. So if you see the iris note in your fragrances when you're purchasing and doing research on whether or not you want to add a fragrance to your collection, if you see that floral note and you don't like powdery fragrances, you probably want to stay away from that fragrance because iris gives you that powdery component. Also, you've got oak moss, you've got musk in this, you've got sandalwood, you've got benzoin in the base, amber, vetiver, and cedar. That gives this fragrance a beautiful anchor and it makes it last forever. I'm going to share some fragrances with you all that if you like or love those fragrances and you don't have this one in your collection, you definitely want to add this in. If you like a White Linen by Estee Lauder, you'll love this. If you like Youth Dew by Estee Lauder, you would like or love this. If you love Aromatics by Clinique, which is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, you will enjoy and love this. They don't smell alike, but they're in that same category of scents, right? Also, I want to say if you like Opium by Yves Saint Laurent, you would enjoy this fragrance. Again, if you love Poème by Lancôme, you would enjoy this fragrance. If you are a lover of any of the Chanel numbers, specifically number 5 and Le Lion, you would enjoy this fragrance. Okay, that's just to name a few off the top of my dome that I can think of that are in my collection that I love, that are kind of in the same category. The way they last, the way they permeate, the way they project, the scent bubble that they provide, the classy chicness of it all. These fragrances are vibes. Again, this fragrance was launched back in 1948, still going strong, still absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. This is a timeless classic. If you love a white floral fragrance that dries down powdery and you don't mind having on a sexy old lady frag, I highly recommend adding this to your collection. Depending on how you shop, you may be able to find a really, really good deal on this fragrance. I think the highest price I've seen for this fragrance will probably be on Macy's.com. You know, when you shop on websites like that, you're guaranteed your original fragrance, not a knockoff, not something that's been sprayed out on and put back in the shelving and things of that nature. So a lot of times you may see, well, I can get this fragrance for $30. I can get it, and it says here it's $90. I'm gonna go with the cheaper price. You know, do a little research with that when you're trying to save money also, because you may get a bottle in your collection that's been sprayed out on. You may get a bad bottle because you want to go with the cheapest price. So really do your research before purchasing fragrances like this. It's been around for many, many years, 70 years, and so you'll definitely be able to find this a little bit of everywhere. But if you don't have this in your collection and you love a beautiful semi-sweet white floral fragrance, they call it a floral fragrance, but I call it semi-sweet, get you some. This is a classic. It is absolutely gorgeous. Most people would say wearing this during the spring and summer months would be the perfect opportunity to wear this fragrance. I love wearing fragrances like this all year around. Okay, sexy old lady frag at the top of my list, La Air du Temps by Nina Reese. This is Color Me Badly and saying thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate all of your love and your support. Make sure if you like this video and you love white floral fragrances that you do your girl a favor and hit that like button, or just share down in the comments what your favorite white floral fragrances are. And it doesn't have to be for summer, springtime. They could be for any time of the year. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. This is again your girl Color Me Badly, and thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next video.